What's up, YouTube? So today is March 24th, 2022, or 2023, I'm sorry. And I'm back at y'all with another video. Today, I just want to show y'all a little something. Especially if you are a black man or a black woman. You know, high blood pressure and heart disease is one of the #1 killers in the black community. So I want to show y'all something that y'all need to do. Hopefully you can see a little bit better, but I'm gonna check my blood pressure. I tend to do this. I do this at least twice a day. Make sure you put it on the right way. This side it says artery. This is the artery side, so I'm gonna put it on this side here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and check my blood pressure, just so y'all can see what I do every morning and night, so y'all can watch with me. I want to see what it is right quick. Really not supposed to talk while you're taking your blood pressure. Hopefully it's not too bad. It takes about 2 minutes or so. I got 143/79, so that's a little bit elevated, but it's not too bad. Really, I like to keep my blood pressure between, my goal is to have it like between 120 and 129, but 143, that's like stage 1 hypertension. But right now I'm kind of tired, so right now I'm pretty tired. So my blood pressure is slightly higher right now than it was this morning. This morning it was a lot lower, but as the day goes on, your blood pressure tends to slowly rise. But for me, my goal is to really get it down to like 120, between 120 and 129, like over 80. That's not too bad. 143 is not too. It's stage 1, but like I said, I'm tired, so I need a nap. I just want to do that to show a lot of you how important it is to take your blood pressure on a daily basis. For me, ever since I started taking my blood pressure, it's actually made me a lot more conscious about what I eat. I'm a lot more conscious about my exercise and sleeping. And when I see my blood pressure rising kind of high at night, it sort of prompts me to go to bed. I usually stop what I'm doing and go to sleep if my blood pressure is a little too high, because I used to have a really bad habit of staying up too late. And hold on one second. I used to have a really bad habit of staying up too late, and when I see my blood pressure is up kind of higher like that, I'm more likely to go to bed. Even right now, probably after I finish video, I'm gonna go ahead and take a nap, because 143 is a little too high for me. I like to keep it like between 120 and 129, but I'm trying to get it down to like 130 something. So oh man. Anyway, that's pretty much what the video was about. I think last night I saw a video about Hassan Campbell, the YouTuber Hassan Campbell, and they said that they took down his channel. I don't know if it's still down, but it was taken down. I guess some people didn't like his I know a lot of people didn't like him. I first started watching his channel when He was talking about, I think he made a video about leaving the hood and how the hood culture is kind of toxic and how it's not good for black people. And that's when I sort of became kind of a fan of Hassan Campbell. It caught me by surprise when it came out with that video about African Bambata, um, about he came out with a certain accusation, or he made a certain claim against African Bambata, and that kind of caught me by surprise. But not really sure how true it is or not. But I don't think a man will go on YouTube and tell millions of people something like that and be lying though. That's something that a lot of people usually keep to themselves. But if you have enough heart to go online and tell the whole world that, then I'm kind of leaning that it might be true, especially if he's willing to tell so many people that. Another thing I've been hearing about is just Pearly Things. You know, she's a famous YouTuber as well. She's popular in what you call the so-called black manosphere. Some people say she's been saying some things about saying some things that are not favorable with some black people. You know, she has a lot of black people on her show. She has a lot of black employees. I believe that before she came up, I do remember her mentioning that Kevin Samuels actually supported her and gave her a little bit of a push or motivation to, you know, start getting into the manosphere a little bit more. I guess he said something to her that kind of motivated her to, you know, do what she's doing now, and she's doing pretty good. She's like at over 1 million subscribers now, and she's almost pretty much. She got the same amount of subscribers that Kevin Samuels had, almost the same amount. In fact, I think a lot of Kevin Samuels subscribers follow just Pearly Things. She definitely learned something from Kevin Samuels. It seemed like she built her channel pretty fast too, because I discovered her like in maybe 2021, and here it is 2023. So it's probably been like a year, maybe a year and a half that I've known about her, and she didn't have nowhere near as many subscribers then that she got now. So she built her platform pretty fast, and that's cool. Congratulations to her. Some of the things that she said, I've heard the statements that they said that she said, and to me, I think that I don't think that it came from a place of ill intent. I think a lot of people are mad, but one thing I always look for is intention. Even when somebody says something disrespectful, when somebody says something distasteful, I always look at intention. Like I always kind of get a feel what kind of energy did they put behind that. You know, if somebody says something that's kind of offensive to a certain race, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, a lot of times it's the energy that I look for. It's the intention that I look for. I think a lot of people these days, they get so caught up in what people say, but sometimes I do think that intention does matter when a person says something. Sometimes people say things that make people mad, but it's not always their intention to offend you. You understand what I'm saying? So, to me, I didn't hear any ill intent. She made a statement about slavery, saying something like they're making the roots was created to make slavery look worse than it actually was. So that's not true at all. Slavery is actually probably worse than it was, worse than how it was depicted in Roots. Now the thing about Roots is, it's not accurate though. Historically, it's not accurate. White people didn't go over to Africa and like capture slaves and throw them onto the ship. That's not how it happened. The way slavery, Africans, we were selling our own people. Africans were selling their own people. So slavery actually started in Africa. And I think many of the slaves were actually prisoners of war. And the Muslims, the Middle Easterns, or the Arabs, I should say, the Arabs got involved, and they started buying slaves, or they started trading slaves. They got into the slave trade. So a lot of slaves wound up in the Middle East. And then later on, the Europeans got the gist of it, and the Europeans got involved in slavery as well, in the slave trade. Back then, the slave trade was very lucrative, and it still is kind of lucrative to this day. And the thing is, what some people don't realize is one of the reasons why Africa is so poor today is because the economy in Africa almost became built on slavery. The slave trade, a lot of Africans were becoming very rich and wealthy from the slave trade. And once it was abolished in pretty much almost around the world, they started losing a lot of their economic, they're losing a lot of economic power. So, you know, another thing is a lot of African nations, they sold so many of their people into slavery that they didn't really have a population big enough to create a strong army, a strong military. This is one of the reasons why it was so easy for the Europeans, or the British, I should say, it was so easy for the British to come and colonize Africa. Well, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was a lot easier than it probably should have been, because many of the people who were sold off into the slave trade were their own people, which weakened their own nations. See, when you sell too many of your own people, you weaken your own nation, and now you don't have enough people for your military to fight. So, yeah, the slave trade actually hurt Africa a lot. A lot of Africans were hurt by the slave trade. You know, the African continent has been exploited for a long time for its resources, including human bodies, including manual labor. So, Africa's always been rich in resources, including manual labor. That was very lucrative. And they saw that back then, 300, 400, 500 years ago. They saw that, So, anyway, back to what I was saying about pearly things. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it didn't come from a place of ill intent. Some people will say, "Oh, you just disappointed because she got a black boyfriend or whatever." Nah, I go by intent. Even as that recent story of that teacher. I don't know. I think it was a college. I don't know if it was a high school or college, where she made a statement about how the black students were performing lower than all the other race of students. To me, I didn't feel that was racist. To me, she was just making an observation about what was going on in her class. If it's true, it's true. That's not racist. If you're making an observation, if the black students are performing lower than the other race of students, if it's true, if it's on paperwork, and the numbers show that it's true, you can't call it racist. If it's true, So that's all I gotta say about that. Now, that was just an observation. I'm not so quick to call everything racist and everything sexist, and now sometimes it is, but a lot of times I look at intent. I look at tone. I look at energy, kind of energy behind it to see what that person's intent was. But I don't want to make this video too long. I just want to make a video about that, those few things, those things on my mind. I'm using a different device, a different camera, so if this looks kind of funny, I'm still trying to figure it out. I really want to turn it this way. Which probably looks a little bit better, but I still need more light, so I do have my ring light, I just ain't plugged it up yet. But yeah, I got some new stuff. I think this camera will be, I'm going to use this camera more often in my videos. You might notice that the audio is going to be a little bit better in this video as well, or it's going to be a lot louder. But other than that, that's all I got to say, man. So, I'll talk to you next time.